What are we going to talk about tonight?
You know what? Planning is for pussies.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean,
The
I'm
best
with you.
conversations come when you sit down.
We need
you
to
pour
get,
yourself a dram.
We need to get into the virtual assistant thing.
That's what I really want to hear about. I do.
But there's a lot to cover besides that.
Yeah.
First sip of it. Ooh.
Let's. You know what though, Mike? If you're okay, let's start with that, man. Tell us what you've been doing.
Okay.
And then we'll work back. Or if you want, we can start with something else. And
No,
then move
let's talk
ourselves
about
into-
that. I want to talk about Cyberbacker.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So how has it been going since the last one? So
are we live? Are we going?
yeah, we're
now?
live.
Yeah, we're live.
Is this? I mean, is this official?
It's
Yeah,
official.
yeah, unless-
so
like,
I want it to be noted. This is my third appearance on this program.
Absolutely, man. You're getting up there with
Bo.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, there's no bigger compliment, Mr. Davis, than return visits, and you become one of the most popular guests on the program.
Well,
That's just the way it goes.
I'm humbled, and I'm humbled to the core.
You are proud of that because this is the second time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I want it to be known. I want it to be known.
I'm proud of it too.
So
I mean,
I'm
hey,
happy that Reynolds showed up
Yes.
for this event.
typically he can't be here for yours.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
It's
why,
crazy. But that's okay.
I think this might even be number 4 for you.
I think it is because I've only missed one of his. I think
No, you've missed 2.
two of his. Okay.
And I think you've been here for 2.
Yes. Yeah. So it's got to be 4.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think you did 2, 1 over there, and this is
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that one. I was just thinking about in this building.
Right,
Yes,
right.
you're correct. You're correct.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's talk.
let's talk about virtual assistants.
Yeah, like
It's
everybody,
the new thing.
we've all, we've had these talks. We're all kind of into the same things. We love the sound of this. I want to hear
What is it?
what you're into and like the evolution of this.
Okay, so it was a really interesting evolution because when Kelly switched from being an independent broker to Keller Williams,
Right.
like her onboarding was 3 days before COVID. Right.
Yeah,
and
great
so
timing.
the whole point of that drill was to get in with a big company who had resources and training and assets that could help propel her forward. And so it was just like, oh my God, what do we do? Like, first of all, once we all just figured out that, okay, we're not going to die,
Right.
the planet's not going to become extinct, and everybody wants a new house.
Right.
What are we going to do? And so she was really intentional about listening to the leadership and the people who have done it for 20 and 30 years. And they said, like, this is what we see happening. And we had a good staff at the time. And they said, you don't really understand what's about to happen yet. It's going to get crazy. You need more help. Would you please take a call from this company? Sure. Because we listened to the leadership, right? And so took a call from the company. And so we ended up hiring our first virtual assistant from this company called Cyberbacker. They're a virtual staffing company. That's their job is to help business owners of all shapes, sizes, and whatever, and industries leverage to find people who can do tasks that are like repetitive tasks that are administrative in nature. So my first question was, okay, what can a virtual assistant from Cyberbacker do? And the answer was really simple. Any administrative task that does not involve a physical presence or does not require licensing. They can anything. Doesn't matter. We can
So
train them
it's
to do it.
not industry specific.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. We've got I think probably 50 or 60 industries. We've got 3,400 Cyberbacker virtual assistants working across the United States and Canada for business owners.
Oh man.
It's crazy, right? And so they provide the backbone of a lot of these businesses. They also do so a lot of ISAs, inside sales agents, that are booking appointments, that are taking incoming calls and things like that. So you've got kind of two sides of it. You've got the sales side, and then you've got the administrative side, and you can hire for both, which is really cool. And so they said, you need to do this. And so we hire this cat, and his name's Arvy. And like, RV is, so one of the things that I tell people right up front, these are super highly educated people. They're all from the Philippines from this company.
Okay.
And the Philippines was a U.S. territory until the 50s. And sometime in the 50s, and I don't know the exact year, but so when these kids go to school from kindergarten on, every class that they take, except for Filipino history, is taught in English.
Oh, okay. So
it's like the cultural thing is like
American.
It's the most Americanized country out there besides America.
right.
So there's a lot of parallels there. So
You
that
don't
works really
face the language barrier that you do
Absolutely
with-
not.
Okay.
You might
Absolutely.
face an accent.
Yeah, you definitely get an accent, but I'm super like I'm not aggressive. I'm very. I have my people who I've got a guy by the name of Marvin who goes out. I call him my talent wrangler, and he goes out and he finds the people for my clients. And my number one edict always is language skill. Like it's
Yes.
not that they don't understand. It's the accent thing.
Right,
And so I want them all to be client facing and all of that, which is really cool. So anyway, we hire this guy, Arvy, and he says, and we didn't know what to do with him. So we set up a list of tasks and he did them and like flawlessly. And almost every one of these people has at least a 4-year degree. Most of them have master's degrees because in the Philippines, education is everything to them. And so you've got these highly educated people. So we had an employee decide that they wanted to leave, and I'm getting ready to post a job posting to hire for this. And Arvy's on a Zoom call and he says, well, what do they do? And I told him, and he said, well, I can do that. I said, okay. And the job that you're already doing? Sure. I said, I'm a little dubious about this.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and so he does, and he doesn't just do it. He knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
So about 4 months later, we have another employee leave, got sick, had to leave, went off on disability. And Arvy again says, well, what does she do? Same thing happens again. And now I've got this cat in the Philippines who is doing not his job, but his job plus 2 full-time people in the office's job, and doing it at an incredibly high level. And so like we're doing the math and we're like, okay, that just saved us $40,000 a year.
That's what I was going to ask you, like FTE expense versus using, the cyberbacker. I mean,
So a full-time cyberbacker right now and an admin cyberbacker is $1,500 a month all in for 40 hours a week. They're your dedicated employee for 40 hours a week
wow. Okay.
for $1,500 a month.
That's pretty good ROI.
It's a real good ROI, and there's very little that they can't do.
Okay.
Very, very little that they can't do. And so it's just an interesting thing. So we've ended up right now we have, between Kelly and I, we have 6. We have a person who is Kelly's executive assistant that literally she's got the real estate side, and she's also a high level real estate coach, and she has clients all across the United States and Canada. And so he is with her all day long, 40 hours a week. He's on either Zoom or on the phone with her almost all 40 hours, and he's taking notes. He's logging things in. He's helping her with listings. He's helping her with buyers. And he does all the paperwork. He just does everything for her. So we've got him, and then we've got a person that does all the social media for across all of our businesses. And then we have a person that is our lead manager. So when people call in, when new leads come in, he logs them all in, puts them in the CRM, puts them in drip campaigns, things like that. He does all of these things for us. And then we have a girl by the name of Lauren, who is the transaction manager for the real estate side for Kelly. And she takes, like, when a house goes under contract, she handles everything from beginning to end. And then I've got 2 on the cyberbacker side. I've got a guy that handles my sales for me, and then I've got a guy who is my talent wrangler. So between us, we have 6 of these people working for us, and we talk all the time. I don't know what in the hell I would do
Right.
without them.
Right. And there's no challenge to the distance that they are away.
No.
Because I think it's fair to say, I think all of us are in agreement here, the pandemic changed the way business is transacted.
100%.
I mean, it completely changed everything. And we all kind of had to make that adaptation. Quite frankly, I think it's refreshing. I mean,
It is.
I like it this way.
And it's not for me, it's not just that I can hire people from another country and work with.
Right.
It's the fact that we have freedom now to not be tied down to an office all the time. And,
Right.
and a lot of the things we can do from anywhere. Originally, I just had the Cyberbacker franchise for Northern Ohio, for the northern 44 states of Ohio. And we recently just bought the bottom half. So now I've got the entire state of Ohio.
Yeah.
So I'm on the road a lot. I travel a lot. But I don't need to be anywhere because I can always jump on a Zoom call. I can always jump on a call.
Right.
You know, we talk to them. Like we have a daily huddle with everybody and we talk to them and it's like in the morning, here's your marching orders for the day. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what you need to accomplish and go. And if they have a problem, they can text me. They've got a Slack, use Slack, the email, whatever, Google, Google, whatever, however you want to communicate. We set them up with a phone number, a local phone number, so that when we call them, it's a local number. If a client calls them, it's a local number. It's just amazing, and we can do all of that and get very, very high output and do it super economically. And in this market right now, we're sitting here right now with the highest interest rates, not just in real estate, but just
on money.
Medium-sized businesses are getting crushed right now by under the weight of the Federal Reserve's war on inflation, and it's killing mid-sized businesses, and it's also killing consumers because we're sitting also with the highest credit card debt in eons. I don't know how long. I'm sure there's a stat on that.
Well, you have both costs and prices just soaring.
And the value of the dollar, just dropping.
So it's interesting you say that. I had a conversation today with someone who was like, it's a person in Cleveland, and they're talking about the fact that they're in sales and they've made about 80 grand this year thus far, and so you're talking probably $120,000 a year, and they've made that in the past. And that sounds like a lot of money. And they're going, I haven't put a dime in savings. I haven't paid down any of my debt other than just the monthly payments this year because the cost of living is ridiculously high. And we've got businesses that can't afford to borrow and invest in infrastructure and new trucks and equipment and whatever they need, whatever that might look like.
Employee training,
employees, like all of that. So like right now is a great time for us because we can offer a solution to that problem.
Oh my goodness. Just finished up with one of our favorite stops after football.
McDonald's.
That's right. Thank you, Brad and Sarah Munn, and all of our local McDonald's restaurants for being great sponsors here at the Chubbies. Chubbies, I still want to know how many points you got. I've got more of them tonight. Go to McDonald's. Help out Brad and Sarah Munn. They sure help out our communities. Thanks, Brad and Sarah. Yeah, and Mike, I don't want to distract you and tell me to wait for a different time if this is coming, but when you hire somebody from Cyberbacker, certainly you have to train them, to your business specifically, probably, right? Or I mean, are all these people pretty well, like, I'm sure like they're brushed up in like Excel and Microsoft.
Yeah, so
Office.
you're talking about people who have, all of them have bachelor's degrees. So at some point along the line, most of them have been in G Suite. So you're talking the whole Google Suite thing is money.
Yeah.
And so if you're good at Google Suite, you can handle Excel, you can handle the whole Microsoft package. It's such a minimal shift between those two.
Right.
So most of the basic business functions, solid on. So what we do is, kind of just a real quick thing on how that works. You take a client, and then my guy, his name, like, this is true, his name's Einstein.
Okay, that's cool.
It's kind of cool, right? My dude Einstein, like, his secret sauce is helping people create job descriptions.
Okay.
Like he walks you through this we call it a business evaluation, and he walks you through this, and he's like, okay, what do you hate to do? What are the things that you find yourself doing every day? I mean, if you don't have someone doing your email for you and your calendar for you, you're a fool, because that takes. People don't understand you spend 3 hours a day on these repetitive tasks that somebody else should be doing for you. I wake up in the morning and I look at my email, and I've got an email folder that it's basically crap Mike needs to see.
Right.
And everything else has been dealt with.
Right.
Now, that doesn't happen instantly. It takes some time to get them trained,
Sure.
so they know how you think and they know what's important to you. But over a really short period of time, then all of a sudden you're only looking at the stuff that matters. So it's the Pareto principle that 20% of your effort creates 80% of your results. Right. And so we want to be able to focus on that 20%. And what happens is we get caught up in the mundane, the repetitive, day-to-day garbage, and we're super busy. So we feel like we're doing something, but we're not doing the things that move the needle on the business forward.
Right. I mean, what it does, it kind of keeps you, it gives you the ability to be very centrally focused in what makes you money.
So yeah, it's the idea of, do you want to work in your business and do all of this crap, or do you want to work on your business and move your business forward?
Sure.
Those are your two options.
Great
and
quote.
The only way that you can do that is by having somebody to take that garbage off your plate.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you think about the time that you spend a day responding to emails that, really aren't moving anything forward.
No.
You're
or just reading emails to figure out whether or not you even need to look at it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. To determine, hey, what's the priority on this?
Right.
How many times is that priority not very high?
Most,
and it's just stages of business. I mean, whenever you first start off, you probably need to be hands-on.
100%.
And, sure. So you understand it. Then you can train one of these folks to help you.
You can train, and as time goes on, your time becomes more valuable. Number one, free time. You get the family, you get, whatever. Number two, your business grows. Okay, you can't do it all anymore. So your time, you then have to shift over to, where's my money coming from? I need to shift to that. That's just good business.
Well, and the other thing that you brought up there, but what I want to emphasize is you, as a performer there, or as the business owner or the stakeholder, you're also getting better at what you do.
Yeah.
And so your time is becoming more valuable to be spent in a dollar generating role.
Yes. Yeah. It's just, I still get stuff, in my business, I still get stuff that, you make $1,000 on versus, and you also get stuff you make $1 on.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm only going to make $1, that's really hard for me to get and to call you back.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but there's where if I had somebody, now I couldn't do it. This goes back to the license thing we've talked about.
100%. Yeah.
But, if I had somebody that I could just shift that over to, I could still take it. But, it's like, but I'm cool right now. It's not, sometimes it's not all about growth, and it's about efficiency, which that's where your cyberbacker comes in.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's not even about business.
Yes.
Sometimes it's about quality of life, and it's about not having to
the stresses.
So if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, and you're and yes, to your point, Chad, you start off and it's like you're all in. Like you're everything.
Right.
But you can only be everything for so long.
Right.
And then and then all of a sudden all of these things start coming at you, and then you get caught up in the minutia.
Yeah. And you won't grow.
And right. And that's why 6 out of 10 businesses fail, is because they cannot get past that point of. So this is a very economical way to get you to the next level. And I would argue that it's even more important for executives to take this stuff off their plate, because it frees you up to focus on your family and your quality time. So I have clients who have Their cyberbacker virtual assistants do so many different things for them. I've got a lady in Cleveland who, at the end of every day, they have a conversation about what needs ordered from Amazon, and order this from Kroger, and this is what I want for dinner, order this from DoorDash, and in the car she goes, and it all just gets done magically, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of thing. And I've got one client who is super bougie, right? And the family just has more money than God. And the mom has her own virtual assistant to book play dates and to, I mean, just like all of it.
Yeah.
Order everything, do their travel planning. It's like the executive assistant for the mom.
How's it coming? Did you ever get into any tutors? I know you're talking about that, like where those virtual assistants could tutor your kid for you.
We didn't, because you get, it's something that's still being talked about, and I've shoved that up the flagpole to somebody way higher in the food chain, because that's not something that I'm qualified to even, like, it was a good idea. It was one of those things where, we're having a, by the way, cheers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cheers. We didn't do
I
that.
apologize.
Yeah,
I apologize. Cincinnati bourbon.
Yeah. First time I ever tried it, and actually, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, really good, I thought.
Thought it would be hot. It's not. It's very, very good. So yeah, but there's so many, like, it's infinite what
that could be a curriculum. That could be curriculum troubles. That could
licensure troubles.
So many things that I don't want any part of.
Kid gets an F.
Right now, now they're calling Mike, and it's like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
So, but you've got all of these things, and so some of the things that people get caught up in too, besides like the basic admin tasks, is the social media tasks, because almost everybody needs to either be branding themselves, or every business needs to be branding themselves on social media or creating some type of social media presence. And some of my clients use them for content creation, and some of them just use them to manage their social media
account. Yeah.
And it's like, so they're following up on they're liking things, they're posting things, but what they're really good at is looking at the analytics and breaking down what your engagement is and what's working from your posts and what's not working from your posts, and it's a science.
Yeah.
Like they have a client that in Utah, a guy bought a like an event space. It's this giant building. They do events in it, and the company that had it before had been there for many years, and they didn't do that. They were okay. They were profitable, but it was in the pandemic, and they're just like, we don't want to do this anymore. And so he bought the business, and the most they had ever done, the most events they had ever done in a year was 86, and their world record year was 86. So he turned loose, he buys this thing, and he turns loose a team of virtual assistants who are highly skilled in social media, and they went to town. And by the end of the year, they had like over 1 million views. They had upped the subscribers by 700 or 800%. The next year, they did 220 some
a little more in the realm.
Events, because it was being marketed correctly. So they've got this whole team doing that. So and it's just like,
so their skills are fairly technical as well. I mean,
well, you hire to the job.
Okay.
And so like Einstein does your business evaluation. You figure out, okay, these are my pain points. And I like to start with, what are the things that you hate to do? Right. Like you get up in the morning and it's just like, I know I got to do this, and it is going to suck the entire life out of me, and I'm not going to be worth a crap the rest of the day.
Right.
Let's start with that, and let's take those tasks off your plate so you can come to the dance and be fired up.
Sure.
To move the needle, right? So we start with that, and then we get into all of the other repetitive tasks and all of that. But once all of that is done, you find yourself in this situation where it's like, okay, all of these things are happening. I'm supervising all of this, but I don't have to do it myself anymore, which means that I now have more time to talk to my clients and to
go fishing
and go to little Johnny's soccer game and all of these
stress-free.
Stress-free.
There's a difference between going and going stress-free.
Well, you're not on your phone having to deal with all of the garbage and missing little Johnny score a goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Because you're so caught up in it. And and it's I don't know, it's a really, really cool thing, and we're excited about being able to. I get a real charge out of being able to help clients move their business forward.
It's $365 a week.
Well, another question
Right.
I've got about this, like, having employees sometimes, good, bad, ugly, there's a lot of pain in that.
There can be.
And I'm wondering how these virtual assistants or the cyberbackers, how does that compare to having, an actual employee? Do you find them to be easier to deal with?
So there's a cultural answer to that.
Okay.
Look, I am not dogging anybody for having in-office employees. You
I
absolutely
know.
should.
It's delicate.
So it's a
thing.
delicate
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But so a lot of my clients support their in-office staff with a virtual assistant, right? And so you have things like that. But what I will tell you is that there is such an intense degree of loyalty and such an intense degree of wanting to please their client. That is cultural. That's how they were raised. Right. So like RV is in his world, he still lives with his parents because that's what they do there. And until his parents' house is paid off, and until he has set his parents up,
he's right there.
He's right there. Like that's his responsibility as the son, and they take it deadly seriously.
Sure.
And so you've got there's this
different driving factors.
Yeah.
Than, as far as employment, and I mean. That automatically makes that person probably a little bit easier to deal with because they're hungry.
They're hungry, but they just want to please.
And so do you have the ability, as with RV working for you, do you have the ability to influence any sort of bonus or anything for RV, or like anything to drive his income?
Absolutely, and we do that. So just to be real clear, so at $1,500 a month, what they make is in the Philippines, in their economic structure, it puts them on par or better than accountants and attorneys and as doctors. So
very prestigious position.
These jobs are coveted. Okay. We get 11,000 to 12,000 applicants a week.
Wow.
Wanting these jobs week in, week out.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is very high paying.
And
for that.
Yeah, and less than 0.5% make it through the initial round of interviews.
Okay.
That's how
dealing with a fairly elite group of folks then.
We are. And that's not an indictment on intelligence or anything like that.
No.
And so most of the time the reason they don't make it through is because they don't have access to the tech stack that they need to be able to do it, because we require that they have redundant internet, that they have redundant email, that they have redundant computer systems, like every redundancy and everything, so that if there's a problem, they can still serve their client.
Okay.
And so a lot of them can't do that.
You can't figure it out.
So our company started creating these centers, and they're transition centers is what they are, where they can come in and work and use the company's equipment, use all that for 90 days so they can make enough money to buy their own so that they can work from home. And it's cool. And they work through the night, and it's like, my God, I couldn't.
That was going to be my next question.
Imagine it.
What are we looking at from a time zone perspective?
It's dead on the opposite side of the world. So if it's 9 a.m. here, it's 9 p.m. there.
So they basically work the night shift.
They work all night long, but it's so common there. It's just the standard there.
Yeah. Okay.
And they adapt to it. And at first I thought, man, this is going to be a problem. Like, I don't know how anybody could do that. And they do. Like, it's just such a...
You can't even tell them.
I don't even think about it anymore. I don't even think about it anymore. And it's crazy because, like, we'll some from time to time, we'll do a Zoom call, like, on a Friday night and have cocktail hour and invite our team.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll all be on Zoom, and they'll all be at their own place, and we're all talking and, having a drink or whatever. And it's a social hour. And it's just, that's how they do it. So
They're having mimosas at like 7 a.m.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's crazy, but it's also pretty cool, really.
Yeah, it is. That is I mean, such a cool idea. I mean, is this really taking off?
Chubby's, hey, we all know this guy. All the folks over at AP Prep, we cannot thank you enough. Look those guys up at apprep.info. We get asked all the time, hey, what happens? How do you get over there? Hey, that's how you do it. You get on apprep.info, you look them up, you set a time for your kid's assessment. They schedule a time, you bring your kid over there, boom, it's done. They get you right in the schedule. And hey, for all you adults, you just show up on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 5:30, and they got their boxing classes. It's $10, or you can join by the month. So look them up at apprep.info.
I mean, is this becoming the new standard, or is it?
So,
where are we now?
Tim Ferriss is the one that first really threw this into the mix when he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week in 2010, I think.
Right.
And he, like, his theory was, I'm going to hire people, I'm going to offshore all of my tasks, and I'm work 4 hours a week, and I'm just going to delegate everything, and I'm going to go learn how to do ballroom dancing.
Right.
Right. And that's like, that was his thing. And so a lot of these companies started popping up, and it has become a lot more mainstream since COVID, because the technology to make it all work seamlessly occurred during COVID.
Right. We really
or was
made a shift.
Refined
Yes.
during,
Yeah.
and mindsets were shifted, and
Right.
so it matters.
Right. Oh, I mean, that's what we've seen since the pandemic, as far as just the way business is conducted. I mean, you don't see companies going out and buying broad, huge office spaces to put people in these cube farms and stuff. Now it's like, why are we going to pay for?
Do your job.
Yeah. Do it from home.
We don't care where you do it from.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Yeah, you can buy your own toilet paper and coffee.
And even the companies that are a little more hardcore about, we want you back in the office, it's not like an all or nothing thing for most of them.
No.
I know, like, Dell is a great example of that. And they said, if you were if you worked from home all of this time during COVID, and you live more than an hour from the office that you used to work in, you can continue to work from home. But if you work within an hour of the office, we want you to come in 3 days a week.
Right.
And so it's become kind of a hybrid thing.
Yeah.
And so
I think most companies have become much less stringent on
Where you are.
Yeah, hey, what time were you here?
Yeah.
I'll log onto your computer, dude.
did the job get done? Can you fulfill your obligation?
Well, I think that there was a thing that they probably saw was like, hey, we can trust our employees.
Right.
Or at least the good ones. Like, it's like, well, if we're paying a guy over a certain amount, I mean, if we can't trust him, we need to get rid of that dude.
Well, what happened was the good ones are now being rewarded, and the ones, the bad employees are exposed.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because when you're working from home, man, I mean, you there's a lot of self-discipline that's involved with that. And if you can't get that done, well, it becomes apparent very quickly.
I think the entire world is done being full of shit. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
There's enough facts and stuff out there at this point that, and
the rhetoric and the all of the I don't want to call it manipulation, but it's like a lot of the BS middle management layer is no longer necessary, which adds to the bottom line.
Yeah, man, you don't need like a bunch of shepherds in there watching people.
No.
And it's like, man, if we got to watch people, hey, why do we have to watch them?
Yeah.
I mean,
it becomes like accountability models, right?
Right.
And so
Exactly.
if you create the right accountability models, then you no longer need to have that person there.
Yeah.
It's just
He's
a
taking that
function
money off
of
the table.
It all becomes just a report at the end of the day or at the end of the week.
Right.
And you have one person who looks at it and goes, Harry there, he didn't didn't get his
numbers are
job
awful,
done.
dude. We're not getting there. Like what are we going to do with
And
Harry?
this is your 16th week in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Fix it or leave, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's actually increased accountability and in a different way, not because somebody's watching you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because now everybody makes a contribution to the company.
Yeah.
what is your equity in that? Like,
Well,
you know.
and no one wants it to go back to the old days of we're going to work in a cube farm from 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
The companies don't want that. The employees don't want that.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to put up the effort, then you're just going to be out because we're not going to go back to that.
No. Because I think that the companies also realized that is a very expensive model
Absolutely.
to pay people to sit here all day and, drink our
Paper.
coffee. Yeah. Use our copiers.
Yeah.
Well, there's a great big bunch of real estate investment trusts that are in the commercial space that are getting hammered right now because there's no need to have these giant offices anymore.
Yeah, I'd say there it is. I mean, I bet the cost on commercial real estate, like that style of it,
Yeah.
I bet that's dropped immensely.
Some. And
I mean,
that has nothing to do with what we do. So
there are still businesses out there though that probably you need to have an
Absolutely.
office,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're always going to have some. I mean,
yeah.
You're always going to have.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but I just think there's been a major shift. I know in the business I work in, the business you work in, I mean,
The internet has just made that, just taken all the margin out of it.
well, I feel like we're just getting started, man.
I do too.
Now you start throwing AI into all this stuff. I
yeah.
mean, dude, there are a lot of people that
Hey, I'm nervous. I don't know. I mean, I think that the insurance business is going to flip
really.
at some point. Yeah. I think that like they're going to take your home and auto business eventually, and that's just going to be online
Well, there's a ton of stuff online anyway.
already.
now.
Yeah. I mean, and that space has quadrupled in the last 3 years. COVID is
in
another.
terms of players or in terms of players.
Yeah. I mean, about everybody's online now in some fashion where they weren't before.
You could make the argument that any sales job could be in jeopardy to AI or something, on the internet.
I'm going to push back on that. And here's the reason why. Well, in some industries, yes. There are some very just cut and dried industries, yes.
Yeah.
But anything that requires
Processing like
process, but
Well, a
industries
technical sale.
where the consumer has questions or the
Yes.
consumer has some reason to feel a level of discomfort about
Right.
about their decision, you need a human being to be able to solve that problem for them.
Right.
And yes, so the cyberbackers, to give you an example, all of them use like high level chat GPT,
Yeah.
and various things and various, video platforms, audio platforms. It's crazy. So I talked to you about, I had a problem with a podcast that I had done, and I had a bad reverb problem on it. And I came to Jason and I said, what are we going to do on this? I said, do you know anybody? And so I talked to some people, and it was going to cost like $3,000 to fix it. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so last week I get this thing, comes through my feed, and it's like now solving this problem, and it's an AI program. And I uploaded that horrible reverb problem podcast, and it spit it out and took all of that reverb out of it, and it cost me $39.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so there's those types of things for sure that AI is just killing the game on.
A la carte.
A la carte.
But when it comes to is there still such thing though as a relationship sale?
Absolutely.
God hope there is. Yeah.
I think it's leaving.
I don't know, man. I think it depends on the industry.
I think it depends on the industry. I mean, like I'm seeing 50% of it used to, like on home and auto. Yeah, they wanted that relationship sale. Then the consumer did this. They just wanted to go for price. Okay, so where's the relationship there?
Until they have a claim.
Well, that's a different story because it's already in there. That's not the sale. That's the service.
Sure, right. But if they have no relationship with anyone, then all of a sudden so it's always going to be a relationship.
And then it's always going to flip back around to a sale.
Right. And so we live in a world where it's never here. It's either here or here or some iteration going between the two, right? And so we have to look at this as an opportunity. And if we ignore that it exists and that we have to face this, then we're fools.
Right.
Because it's very real and it's coming.
Here. It's coming. Yeah.
It's coming.
It's here.
It's here.
Yeah.
And there are some really, really smart people and really smart companies who are figuring out how to leverage this on a high level. And they're creating.
This will be happening to people, and they're not even going to know it.
And they're not even going to know it.
Well, I think that there will always be, I look at the business I'm in, it will be very difficult to replace the sales relationship with people. And like you said, it's always evolving, like with service, or whatever. I mean, them knowing that they can pick up a phone call and that I'm going to answer it. Mm-hmm. Or that you're going to.
Now, there's people that don't want that.
There's a lot of people in my call point, man. I'm dealing with a lot of hospital pharmacists and stuff, man. They sit in a basement all day.
Yeah, they don't care who you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, eventually they do.
But they didn't buy it off of you, so they didn't call to talk to Chad.
No,
they just want somebody who's going to get it done.
Right. Well, and what you have to do, the whole key is, I still feel you have to go in there and show them some form of value. Mm-hmm. Where when they think of your product, they think of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, with him though, man, he kept us when Jaco was in here looking at something, man, they had a question. I called him and boom.
Yeah.
Every single relationship is based on value, whether it's your relationship with your significant other or your kids or your clients or the guy that you're buying the car from or the house from or the gun from, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's all based on a transfer of value. And and AI can fulfill a very, very large portion of that value, but
it's going to be hard for those.
Still don't believe that it can. There's so many pieces where it can't fulfill all of the value to create a good relationship. So I don't know. Yeah.
And I don't think it was meant to. I think that it's always just going to be a plug and play. Like, okay, where do you need AI? Here you go. Plug it in here.
Yeah. Like I don't know that I look at AI with like fear.
No, I look at it as, okay, it's like a virtual assistant.
I look at it as another tool.
Yeah.
Right. Or am I being naive on that?
No, I'll give you a great example of this. So I wish I could remember this guy's name and I can't, but he was one of the founders of Yahoo. Like he was an early adopter in the tech world, and he is a very, very high level understanding of all things tech. And now he does just nothing but consulting and makes $1 zillion a year consulting. Right. And so, and he made $1 zillion when Yahoo sold. So this guy, he is passionate about AI, and he was at a conference speaking to a group of educators, college educators, and they were so singularly focused on the question of how do we stop students from cheating using AI.
Right.
Like that was their singular focus. And he stood up in front of this group and he's like, you guys are 1000% have this entire thing wrong. You are focused on the wrong thing. You need to focus on teaching these young people how to harness AI to make the world a better place and stop worrying about whether they're using it to cheat or not. Let's focus on how we can use this to create a better world. And it was kind of like a paradigm shift for a lot of these educators, and I think it probably moved the needle a little bit in that world. I hope so,
kind
because
of like the
he's
old
right.
Adage of, hey, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Right.
Well, yeah, you are. It's here.
That was prior to the iPhone.
Yeah. And now it's never leaving.
I mean, I think that you can be the guy that's out there trying to swim upstream, saying, "Oh man, AI, it's going to be the death of us." All this. We've heard the same thing, man. With how many different technologies or whatever,
and they just continue to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, man, no. The best way to look at it is, all right, now wait a minute, how can I position myself where this is going to benefit me?
Yeah.
And that's the horse to jump on and ride. I mean,
it requires a different mindset.
Yeah, it does.
You have.
You don't get it a lot here. You get it. You get that some other place. Like you don't get you're going to get more resistance rural
So,
areas.
and we've all had this conversation before. You either look at the world through a lens of abundance, meaning there is enough for all of us. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out how we can all do better. Let's figure out, or a lens of scarcity, meaning if you win, I lose.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's just not the way it works.
Do you ever see that? I mean, I feel like I'm starting to see an end to that level of thought.
I think it's
People seem to be more open to helping one another and rooting for people's success. But I mean, I say that, and I know that's not
And
true.
they also hate every picture that they post.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just people, though.
That's
dude.
just people.
I would love to believe that we're better at that than we used to be, and certainly some people are. But I think that you're fighting human nature a little bit,
You are.
and you're fighting. I mean, you're fighting upbringings, and you're fighting. You know, when you look at if you look at the differences between generations, like it's undeniable.
Oh my!
It's so glaringly obvious that it exists and it's real. It's part and parcel of all of this whole socio-economic, all of it. It's how people view the world, and they view the world through their experiences and what they were taught and what they learned, and so perception is reality. Right? Like perception is your perception of an event or a situation or a thing is your reality, and you're going to act on your reality.
Well, you think about it. I mean, if we look at it, what's the easier path? If we're sitting here talking and we're talking about a recent success that somebody had, me, you, Mike, is it easier to be like, man, that guy, he's full of shit, or whatever, or is it easier to go out and really celebrate that and think, man, what can I do to move myself like that? I mean, it goes back to the old principle, if you want what most people don't have, you got to be willing to do things that most people won't do. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a lot easier to just sit back and chuck tomatoes than what it is to get out there and get in the arena. And so you're always going to have that human nature at play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
So one of the things that I really focus on these days and is gratitude, honestly.
Yeah.
Like in the morning, so it is physically impossible if you are in a state of gratitude, if you are grateful for something or a person or a thing or an event or whatever, if you are in a state of gratitude, it is physically impossible to be negative. Think about that. It's the truth.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
if you're feeling super grateful about something, anything,
Yeah.
it's impossible to be negative when you're in that space. So I get up now and I really try and focus on a couple of things that I'm grateful for that day. It might be a person or a thing or something that happened or something that someone did for me, or it might be one of my kids or whatever pops into my mind. But I try and stay in a state of gratitude because it makes everything else easier.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, being positive, and I think it's so big. And I mean, this might sound cheesy, but I think directed thoughts and things like that, particularly early in the day, are huge. Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you about one of our special friends and friend of the program, Geiger Brothers Construction. Man, those guys have been with us since the start. Scott Massey, even though we're kind of hard on you sometimes, we sure do appreciate your sponsorship. And guys, if you own a commercial business and you need some contracting, engineering work, anything done, give those guys a call. 740-286-0800. Geiger Brothers. Thanks.
100%.
Like, hey, man, am I going to be grateful or am I just going to wake up bitter?
You choose.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I'm guilty of it as anybody else. I mean, sometimes you just you wake up like, woe is me, I'm getting my ass kicked. It's not even 9 o'clock. And it's like, man, maybe I should sit back and think about, hey, you know what? A lot of people got a hell of a lot worse than this guy.
A lot of people didn't wake up.
Yeah. A lot of people got a hell of a lot worse than this
Every
guy.
single day.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, hey, not to change subject. When's your race?
Week from Sunday.
Week from Sunday.
What are you doing, man?
Columbus Half Marathon.
Oh, there you go.
Be number 8 or 9 for the. I think I'm on half marathon number 11.
Okay. I
Maybe
know
12.
you guys have done that a few times.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. We've actually Kelly is way better at training than I am.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She really like. I don't enjoy running
You just
nearly
don't really
as much
enjoy-
as she does. Like, and it's not that I hate.
It's still labor.
So it's 100% labor. But that being said, I also, when I'm in good shape, I am way better than otherwise. So the last couple, I have gone to those races, and my physical condition was, I'm pretty sure I can get this out.
Just got to finish it.
Right.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can get
Yeah.
this out. So we never run more than 10. And last year, I think we worked our way up to 8 before the race. And so I literally gutted it out. This time, this week will be week 3 of doing 10, and we never do more than 10.
Okay.
And I'm super comfortable right now. So I'm
you
in
feel
the
pretty good
best
about it.
shape I have been in a long time. I am not, I've run that thing I ran Cap City in under 2 hours once.
Yeah.
And I am not going to be setting any PRs, but I'm also not going to be huffing and puffing at the finish line.
right.
And so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. And more importantly, I'm going to keep going this time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop this time because I feel so much better now. I had really let myself get out of shape.
I have to do something. And I know it doesn't look like it, but I every day I have to do some form of physical exertion, whether it's working out or a walk or chopping firewood or something, shoveling shit. I have to do something every day to get my blood pumping.
It still gives you an endorphin rush.
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah. Yeah, it does.
It just makes you feel better. Even if you're not in good shape, just taking a walk makes you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that doesn't make it any easier to do if you don't feel like doing it.
No,
But
it
you know
doesn't-
you should.
It doesn't get me off the couch any easier, but I do feel better when I'm
I
done.
mean, the way I feel about it, man, is like, I some days I go harder than others. Okay. Because like if I'm in, I feel great. I'll go a
Busy
little
time
harder.
right now
I'll
for
go a little
you.
harder. Yeah. But I'm also getting a good workout in every night coaching these little guys.
Yeah,
But
you are.
but I still, that morning walk, man, like my cousin told me one time, he's a big runner. And his thing is like, sometimes you just got to fight yourself to get out on the front of the driveway. And once you've taken the first step,
you're good.
it's over.
Yeah.
Then you're done for today.
You're going to finish it.
Because the thing is, you've now overcome that spot in your mind that like, maybe I'll just skip today. You know?
My biggest problem here lately has just been sleep schedule.
Oh, really? Not sleeping well?
Well, I mean, some days I get some sleep. Some days I don't, I don't get any.
That's rough,
I
man.
can't get in a good routine for anything.
Dude, you might need to get like a new mattress or something, man.
I need to get, I know I have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And I
I
know-
think I probably do too. I need to go.
People who have sleep apnea and it's like the least sexy thing in the world is to get the CPAP
Oh, I
machine.
know, but changes
people who
lives.
have
Look,
it,
Chad and I have a little bit to give.
well,
Ask our wives.
as,
I mean,
as that may be,
Yes.
I'm just going to say that people who go that direction almost 100% talk about how it completely changed their life.
I've heard that, man.
that's what Bother said.
Yeah, completely changed his. And I mean, I've just been, I guess you can take those at home now, man.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Talk about, and I mean, I just need to do that, get the prescription and go buy a CPAP, man. I mean, it's ridiculous not to do it.
Yeah.
Bad for you.
So we started going with mattress wise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give an unsolicited plug.
Okay.
So we like found this pattern where when we stayed at Westin hotels, we slept really good. So Westin has this they call it the Westin Heavenly Bed, and they've like got their own bed line.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that.
So we put one in our first Airbnb in German Village, and it was like, I can't wait to get back there.
It was that nice.
I cannot wait to get back there.
In one bed.
And so we ended up buying a second place up there, and we just put a king. That was a queen. We put a king in the new one, and we slept on it for the first time the other night, and it was like, oh my God, I don't want to leave. I'm gonna live in this bed.
Think about everything that happens during your sleep. That is the only time that your body gets a chance to rest.
Right.
And recover.
And you're also, but you're still laying on something.
Mm-hmm.
So, your body, your core and everything, how is it supported? Are you using one muscle to keep yourself
important,
up?
man.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
so you guys haven't made the move to your home with this Weston?
No, not yet, because they're really expensive.
Yeah.
So
It's $3,000 for a king.
one thing at a time. It's about $3,000 for a king for the mattress.
For the mattress. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's
That might be worth it, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how
Oh my
much
God, you
CPAP
sleep
machine?
you sleep like that in a CPAP. You would be in there.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Hell, I might never get up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, you'll sleep like 7 hours and be like, I am ready to go.
you feel
kick
good.
some
Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
My problem is that it takes me 8-9 hours to get 4 of sleep.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I mean, that's just what my stuff's telling me, Are you still wearing your Garmin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think, hey, did you know they got a solar one out?
No.
Yeah. You never have to charge it. It just charges.
Mine's due for a charge. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. They just, I did put a new band on mine.
Oh, did you? I haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
I
my band
probably need to.
But they make them now, this charges. Now, speaking of watches, you wearing it?
Nope.
You ain't wearing that $high Unit? Let's see it.
Nope.
Which one you got on?
Nope. I'm not wearing a watch.
Oh, you're lying.
Not going there. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, yours is nicer than Eddie's.
I got a nice gift for my 60th birthday from my lovely partner.
I have to. I always tell Eddie, yours is nicer. Just to get him.
Let's don't get crossways with Eddie. Not a necessary thing for me.
Yeah.
We got anything else?
No, man, that was great.
Yeah, we've been at it an hour.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys so
No
much.
problem. Cheers,
Hey,
man.
We'll
I
get you-
always
we will
enjoy.
get you
I
back.
always enjoy this. Next time we'll talk about something. Mount Kilimanjaro or something.
Heck, we might tell people how to sell stuff or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could always talk dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Put 3 salesmen in a room and imagine what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah. And
right.
that one that got away.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
thanks,
Chubbies,
guys.
see you.
Like and subscribe.
See you.